Hello friends, I would like to introduce our dear friend Mateen Heather, who's going to show us how to make fabulous rice. And from here, take it over.
Thank you so much, those Sahelis. What we are doing is we're making Kabuli Pulao the fast way with not too much work. And it will have no meat, but it will taste very good. You can always add meat whenever you prefer. So the first thing you have to do is gather the rice, 2 cups of rice, okay, and put it in a bowl and add water to it and let it soak in the water for at least 3 hours or more. So that's the first thing that you want to do. Okay, so here is the rice that has been soaked in water. As you can see, it's still soaking. It's soaked for over 3 hours, which is a good idea. Did you have any other questions, Ruby?
So what rice are you using?
The rice that I'm using is non-sticky and non-clumpy and long grain, and it's called Basmati. The longer the grain you can get, the better off you are. We are not making sticky rice, clumpy rice, or you can call it Thai rice. It's basically for a Kabuli Pulao.
Yeah, and I think Basmati rice is also low in glycemic index, so it's a better rice to eat.
Yeah.
At least I think so.
I'm not a biologist, so I have no clue. I just go with the taste.
Okay.
So, always 1 cup more. It's only when you have 1 cup of rice, you will need 1 3/4 cup of water. But today we have 2 cups of rice, so 3 cups of water. So we'll fill the water in here.
Is it hot water or cold?
It can be either hot or cold. That's 2 cups. Put in the pan. Another 1 cup. Put in the pan. So now you have all your water in the pan. You will not need more water. Now to this you will add the better than bullion. I prefer this over the other, broth tablets. Better than bullion comes in vegetable, beef or chicken. This is a beef base. So what are you going to do? You're going to open the jar. You're going to take a teaspoon. Thank you. Since you put 3 cups of water and 2 cups of rice, you're going to have 5 teaspoons of this better than beef bouillon. And you're probably asking, where do you buy this from? Costco.
Are you promoting Costco?
No, I'm just telling you where you can get it for under $6. Because we're on a budget. Amazon. That's 3.
So this is your preference. We can use other bouillon also, right?
You can. You can also use a chicken bouillon, but I like the color and the taste of this.
Remember, you can use halal bouillon, kosher bouillon. It doesn't really make a difference. And if you're vegetarian, just use vegetarian bouillon.
So now we have put 5 teaspoons of the better than bouillon, which is a beef bouillon. To this now we will add ilachi. Okay. So do we have some ilachi? Here we are going to put in about 4 to 5 ilachis or cardamom right in the water along with the beef bouillon or the non-beef bouillon, better than bouillon. Then to this we are going to add cloves. Black pepper kernels about 4. And then cloves. I don't like to add too many cloves. 2 will be enough. Okay. So what we basically have now here is 3 cups of water, 5 teaspoons of better than beef bouillon, 4 cardamoms, 2 cloves, and some pepper kernels. Now you're to that point, and now what you're going to look for is some fried onion. Could I have the fried onion, please? for the broth to boil.
So we've poured the water out of the rice, and now the broth is going to come to a simmer,
To a boil.
to a boil.
Oh, another thing we need.
Okay, so Mateen, how did you come up with this recipe?
Actually, I learned it from my father, who's a Punjabi, and he loves Kabuli Pulao because it's not too spicy and still very tasty. So that's where I learned it from. And then I made my own little improvements, like the bouillon that you're adding. He didn't add garlic, I add garlic, and that's it. And now it's slowly coming to a boil.
So can we do like variations and add garbanzo beans or other
Absolutely,
things?
and we'll be adding peas, but you can add green beans, you can add meat,
Okay.
whatever you prefer. Now it has come to a boil. So what are we going to do? We're going to add the soaked rice into the boil. मैं ते हाथ इस्तेमाल करांगा ये ते चौल जेह्ड़े ना सारे इत्थे पा दित्ते न
And what did you say?
I have put all the rice into the boiling water. I will stir it and I will wait till it comes to the next boil. Okay, there you go. Now it's come to a boil after we added the rice. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your organic raisins and you're going to add a handful or a muthi pat. ਤੇ ਹੱਥ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾ ਕੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਜੀ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਾ ਦਿਓ. So you can put the raisins into the boiling mix. To the boiling mix, I will also add 2 handfuls of peas. And then what you're going to do is you're going to mix the entire mix. So what you've done now is you have brought it to a boil with the peas and the raisins in there. So now what you're going to do is you're going to slow down the heat to a low level, cover it, put your timer on, and your timer on is 10 minutes. You're going to let it slow cook for 10 minutes. So I put the heat on low, and now you're going to, the 10 minutes is very critical. So I'm going to start the timer on my smartphone.
And not more than 10 minutes.
And not more than 10 minutes.
And why?
Because you do not want to overcook the rice. You want it to still be grainy.
So if we were making like double the recipe, then how long would we cook it for?
For the same.
Mateen, if we were going to make 4 cups of rice, then how much time would be set up for cooking?
You would need the same amount of time. The only thing you would need more is a larger pan probably, because this rice will bubble and expand. So if you had 4 cups of rice, then you would use 5 cups of water, which you would put in there. And of course, you would always soak the rice for more than 3 hours.
Okay.
Other than that, you would
Still
double all
10
the...
minutes of cooking.
And then again with the bouillon is 1 teaspoon per cup for rice and water. So you would add it all up together, and that's how many teaspoons you put in. And the same with the onions, you would basically double everything.
Okay, thank you. So what do you usually serve the rice with?
The rice can be served with a salan, it can be served with yogurt. Actually, yogurt and rice, it tastes very good. It's basically a carb that you put on the side, whether you have roti or rice or anything like that.
Okay.
But it's also very nice if you add like mutton to it or beef. I don't know about chicken so much. The chicken with the pulao doesn't sort of suit it too much, so I don't go with chicken. And then I haven't tried it with fish. Maybe you could try it with fish. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and everyone has their preferences, so they can come up with their own combos.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, there's no masala in here in the sense that the salt is covered by the better than bouillon. You do not have to add salt.
I
but
did notice that you didn't put any salt.
That's right, that's right. But you can add mirchi to it if you want it hotter. It becomes more like a biryani, but it will look like a pulao. And what does a pulao look like? It looks brown and it looks flaky, you know, in the sense that the rice kernels are not bound together, and that's what we are
Excellent.
aiming for.
All right, thank you. So we'll check it in 10 minutes.
So there are only about 10 seconds left for the 10-minute cooking time. So we're almost done.
Spoken like an engineer.
Mateen, there was no excitement when the 10 minutes were over. You should have jumped or something.
Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to turn the stove off, totally off, and leave the whole mixture covered up for 20 minutes. So then it will be perfect.
So don't remove the lid.
Do not remove the lid, leave it.
And don't stir it or
Don't
flutter
stir
it
it
or
and
anything.
nothing like that. Nothing.
Okay.
And so in 20 minutes you should have some nice pulao. As you can see, the peas have bubbled up a little, but that you can mix later when you serve it. So this is something you can prepare before you have guests come over, and then just leave it 20 minutes or longer. It'll still stay very nice and warm. So then you don't have to, you know, be cooking while your guests are visiting you. So that is the simple formula that should bring you some joy in terms of your friends. You can tell them that this was very hard to make because you had to boil the broth, you know, where you got the bones from the beef. And it took you a long time when it basically has taken you, say, 20 minutes total.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome though, Sehili.